Hey guys, so I guess the best way to describe my birth experience is that it didn't quite go to plan. I had made a birth plan before I went in because I thought it was going to kind of all go quite according to plan. I thought, I really want to do it as naturally as possible. But 14 days after my due date, there was still no sign of my little girl, Sophia. So in a way, a lot of the choices were taken away from me because I had to be induced. So I went into the hospital and the induction process was started, which if anyone doesn't know how induction works, it's basically they give you like a pessary or that has a drug in it to try and kickstart your contractions. After about 2 or 3 hours, suddenly I just got this horrendous sort of cramping pain that just felt like, I guess, like period pains, really, really severe. But I didn't quite know what exactly was happening because they weren't coming in waves. It wasn't like I would have a really sore cramp and then it would ease. It just kind of was this constant pain. So when they put the sort of contraption on me to check whether I was having contractions, it showed that I was what's called hyperstimulating. Immediately they took the pessary out and I basically was just told, right, we're just gonna have to leave things for a while. By the time they then monitored me and the baby, it showed that the baby was in quite a lot of distress and her heart rate had increased and my temperature had increased. So basically we were told, right, we're going to have to rush your labour because we have to get the baby out. And they managed using this sort of knitting needle thing to break my waters. And I remember just feeling so relieved that I felt like finally something was happening that was meant to happen. I was then told they were going to have to give me another drug to try and speed up the labour and advised that it would be quite painful because everything would be sped up. And so I chose to have an epidural straight away, and after a few hours the drug had worked quite quickly and I was fully dilated, which from being like 1 centimetre for days and days to suddenly then they were like, oh, you're 10 now, was a relief. And I was really pleased that finally I was able to try pushing. After an hour and 20 minutes my beautiful baby girl was born and she was perfect. And everything was great and wonderful. And I kind of wish that was the end of the story. But after about 10 minutes, I just remember they suddenly took her off me and the doctor just looked quite panicked, and the consultant. And I just remember him saying, she's bleeding. And I thought that they meant Sophia. So I was really concerned, but soon realised they meant me. And now I know hemorrhaging is extremely normal and happens a lot during births, but it was something I didn't really know that much about. And basically what had happened is because I'd hyperstimulated earlier in the induction process, my uterus, after you have a baby, apparently your uterus is meant to clamp down to stop you bleeding, but mine didn't. And to make matters worse, they needed to give me a drug to get it to close, but when they tried to give it to me, my the cannula that was in my hand tissued. Again, I've never heard of this before. It's basically where it goes into the tissue rather than into the vein. Because I'd lost a lot of blood, my veins were collapsing, so they were really weak, and they tried to get the another sort of needle in my arm, another cannula in my arm to give me this drug, and they just couldn't seem to get it, by which stage I was just panicking. There were people, you're lying there and there were just people running around, and Sophia was over at the side. Sorry, I don't mean to get emotional and be really stupid on camera. And anyway, eventually they got an anaesthetist, and the anaesthetist managed to get a vein and they got the drug into me. And everything then, once that drug was put into me, they managed to stem the bleeding. Even though it was obviously really scary at the time, I have a beautiful, healthy baby girl who is perfect and was perfect. And regardless of how I felt or what happened to me, she was here safely, and that's you know, at the end of the day, that's the important thing. So I'm sorry for that rather gloomy outlook on birth, or my rather gloomy birth story. All births are not like that, of course, and some are absolutely amazing. Please leave any comments below and let us know all about your birth experience. And did it go to plan? Because yeah, as I said at the beginning, mine most certainly didn't, but then I don't think many ever really do.